Guess we're going. My name is Nick Zamboni.
And I'm Sam Collins.
Welcome to the Beers, B Movies, and Battle Royales podcast, episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. Come on, join us as we crack open a cold one. Today, we are drinking the Two Pitchers Radler. It is, let me look at the beer so that I can know what I'm talking about. It is the Two Pitchers Lager, grapefruit, and blood orange. It is a Radler. It is very smooth, and basically, according to the legend, a Bavarian barman needed to stretch his beer supply one afternoon and decided to add a barrel of citrus juice to his brew. Wonderbar. Inspired by this ingenuity, we created Two Pitchers Radler, a refreshingly crisp blend of lager and grapefruit juice with a hint of blood orange for good measure.
Do you work for Two Pitchers Brewery?
No, but maybe I should.
Maybe you should.
Go follow them on their Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Two Pitchers Beer. And that's it. And
what kind of rating would you give this one?
I really like this beer. I'd probably give it 5 tabs out of 5 tabs.
Wow.
It's very smooth. It's fruity. I love fruit beers. Don't read into that, guys. But
I know how much you love fruity.
Yeah. Is this your beer? Or is this? I think it's this is yours. Okay. Sorry, I was like, they're like equally heavy, so I was like really confused.
I'll take it. It's fine.
But this beer is very smooth, and actually we tried it last podcast. My roommate had it and brought it up, and I tried a sip, and I was like, holy crap. And I gave a sip to Nick, and he's like, we have to review this beer.
Yeah. So this actually is going to usurp my favorite beer, the Sequench Ale sour beer. This has to be a 5 bottle tabs, can tabs out of 5. It has to be.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the pinnacle of Radlers.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was in Austria. I asked for a Radler. I asked for it in German, and the guy laughed at me. He laughed at my accent. He told me that I said it wrong, but he still gave me a Radler. But it wasn't as good as this. This is really good.
Yeah,
a lot.
I kind of want to try their other beers because, I mean, if this is this good, then other ones got to be good too. And I was looking on their website, and it looks like they have a very interesting style of what they brew. I didn't quite understand it, but I was interested to learn more about it at another time, obviously, because I didn't learn about it.
Very cool.
But
yeah, so Two Pitchers Brewery, what's it called again?
The Radler Lager. It is
Lager.
A grapefruit and blood orange beer.
5 can tabs out of 5.
Yeah, definitely the best beer we've had so far.
Go try it. Tell us what you think. If you have any beer suggestions for the podcast, let us know. Shoot us an email. Send us a message on Twitter. It's beers.bmovies.battleroyales@gmail.com, or you can find us at BBB Nick and Sam at Twitter, or Beers, B Movies, and Battle Royales on Twitter. So yeah, if you have any beer recommendations, anything you want us to try out, anything you want us to review, send us a message. We'll review it.
Yeah, please send us recommendations.
Please.
Because I'm running out of beer to pick. I'm just usually like, oh, that looks good.
Okay, so today, what's going to be our B movie?
I watched 10,000 BC last night, and Nick's already seen the movie, so he's like, hey, Sam, you got to check this movie out. And basically, the plot of the movie is it follows a mammoth hunter, Delay, who is Stephen Strait. I've not heard about this guy, and I have no idea what movies he's in. But
I don't think he's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah. I'm also very bad with movie actor names, so
okay.
I
can probably help you out there.
But it's about a mammoth hunter named Delay, and he's been long in love with a beautiful blue-eyed tribeswoman named Evelette.
Who is Camila Cabell.
Yeah, and I know who that is. And she's a very beautiful woman. And after horseback riding raiders kidnap most of Delay's fellow tribesmen, as well as Evelette, he sets out on a dangerous trek to rescue his fallen lover. And that's kind of the general plot. Basically, it starts out where them kind of as kids, and kind of shows that Delay, his father, left him, and Delay and Evelette fell in love at a very early age, and it kind of skips to the present when they've grown up and they're kind of hoping to get married. And
yeah, one of the big themes in the movie is Delay trying to win the right to have the white spear, which is like basically the right to like lead the tribe. And they talk about these demons that have to be killed, which the tribe determines for some reason that these demons are actually woolly mammoths that they have to kill. So one of the first things that they do is they go out and try to kill some woolly mammoths, and there's a scene where he like sneaks, one of the characters sneaks into like a pack of like 10 or 15 woolly mammoths, and he just like pops up out of a bush and starts screaming, and all these woolly mammoths start running all over the place, and Delay, the main character, actually accidentally kills one of the woolly mammoths, therefore getting the right to rule the tribe and get the white spear just by pure accident.
Yeah, and also not only winning the white spear, so he becomes a leader, he also wins the hand of Evelyn, his lover.
Super convenient.
Yeah, it's just like a win-win. But Delay, he felt very guilty about this, and he talks to Tick Tick, great name.
Which, there's so many reasons for this to be. It's not a B movie because it's low budget. It's a B movie because it's just bad.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things in this movie that they try so hard to be taken seriously, but they shoot themselves in the foot over and over again by choosing names like Tick Tick and saying it every 5 seconds in the movie.
Yeah. After like 30 minutes into the movie, I wanted to count how many times I said the main character's name, because it probably was a couple hundred times.
I feel like this movie actually would be such a great movie if they didn't say anything at all. If they just took like the Samurai Jack route and like didn't say anything, and they were like just like cavemen that didn't talk with like grunts the whole movie. I feel like that would have been such a better storyline to follow than this like terrible dialogue throughout the whole movie, which is like one of the big themes for me. Is like the dialogue is just so like abrupt and so caveman that it's like so hard to take it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I really kind of enjoyed the plot just because it was a fun, kind of very easy to follow movie, and the dialogue was kind of like choppy. It was very much like a yes, no, let's do this. Okay,
Yeah.
Sweet. But I mean, I kind of enjoyed the movie a little bit. One thing I really appreciated about the movie was there was a realistic portrayal of raptors, which, if you know anything about dinosaurs, it is theorized that dinosaurs are more bird-like. And in this movie, there are raptors, I assume, and they're basically ostriches, and they're really freaky.
They're giant ostriches. You can't tell me otherwise. It's ridiculous. There's a scene where they're walking through like really tall grass, and it's totally ripped off from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And you can't convince me otherwise. I mean, it's just blatantly like, look, dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, run, raptors. Like, remember this? Remember Jurassic Park? Remember how fun that was? And that's like what it's trying to do through that whole scene. It's ridiculous. They got like giant beaks and feathers and whatnot, but they're just glorified ostriches, and they're actually called terror birds in the movie, which actually sounds really cool, but they don't look terrifying at all.
Mm-hmm.
They look ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? And then it's like this goofy looking. It's basically like Big Bird. If Big Bird was like a terrifying creature.
You know the bird from Up?
Yeah.
It's like the bird from Up.
Oh, yeah. It's like a bigger version of that.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of dodo birds running around.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I was going to say something, but I forgot. So.
It's fine. You'll remember as soon as I start talking.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, and obviously spoiler alert, there's going to be spoilers in our review and our talking about this movie. So if you like don't want spoilers, don't listen to it. It's probably too late because you've already listened this far. But there's a part where they talk about what's that guy's name? The Almighty. And it's basically like if you think of the Persians or like the Egyptians, and like there's this like civilization, and they talk about them like they're gods, and they have to go like conquer the Almighty, conquer the gods. And wasn't there like one part where they were talking about like creatures with wings, but they're really talking about boats?
Yeah, basically they were Delay and his fellow tribesmen were in a very rudimentary kind of Stone Age existence where they just had spears and they hunt and that's all they did. They hunt and then were hanging out with friends and family. Everyone was a big family. And then kind of in this journey, they kind of are exposed to new technologies such as horses, which were called four-legged demons. I knew exactly what they're talking about. As soon as they said four-legged demons, I'm like, that's probably a horse. And then they talk about
the worst.
So it's following this raiding party. Delay's following this raiding party, and it kind of goes through different periods of time. It kind of feels like it's rushing through periods, like it kind of escalates towards the end, which is like the Egyptians and kind of their grandiose technology, and they have ships, and they have, which to them they think it is a bird because the sails are going with the wind, but it's like, no, that's a ship, and you haven't seen that yet, so that's a fair assumption.
So I want to talk about my favorite part of the movie. Is they meet another tribe, and the other tribe is supposed to help them, but they don't necessarily get along. But there's a scene where they talk about like this prophet, this blind man who used to be a slave of the gods or the Almighty. He like escaped from them, and they like keep him with them, and like they're like, yeah, go get the prophet guy, and they just like take this door off the floor, and like they pull this like decrepit blind man out of the floor, and he talks like he hasn't had a drink of water in like 5 years.
Probably because he hasn't.
Yeah, and they're just like, yeah, we just keep him under the floor, and we don't feed him, we don't take care of him, we just keep him there for any time we need to talk about the gods, basically the Persians.
Yeah.
And they just like pull him out. He talks for a little bit about what it's like to like what they're afraid of and what they can expect, and they're like, yeah, thanks, and they just shove him back into the floor and like cover him back up, and like you don't see him ever again. It's just like a completely ridiculous moment where you're just like, what the heck are they doing? They're just like keeping a guy under the floor. Like, what in the world?
That was honestly like my only what the heck moment in the entire movie. I expected there to be more of those, but it just seemed like generally overall, like the quality of movie was low. The CGI was spectacular for a 2008 movie. I believe that when I saw the Sabretooth and those raptor birds, I was like, dang, man, for 2008, like this is some, they spent a lot of money on this, but not on writers.
Yeah. Yeah. The writing is pretty bad, which is why this movie is like kind of enjoyable, which is why it's so fun to laugh at. It's because there's just so much dialogue in it that doesn't make any sense. There's so much dialogue that is just awkward and clumsy and would just like leave you laughing at like what they're saying. But yeah, like if there's any really good stuff to say, the CGI is pretty impressive. I mean, the mammoth.
The mammoths are great.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like, even by today's standards, it still holds up as far as CGI. Roland Emmerich actually directed this movie. He directed movies that you have heard of: Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, some pretty big movies. This is definitely regarded as his worst movie, and probably the worst movie of 2008. I think it was actually voted the worst movie of 2008. So it's pretty bad. I mean, it's probably worth seeing. Like a rental.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
so
it's on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, it's free. But it's worth giving it a shot. Worth taking a look at. We're actually gonna. Do you want to talk any more about the movie?
Not particularly. Yeah, I just like the CGI, and like it was a fun movie. Like I sat down and watched it with my roommates, and like one of my roommates came in, and he was like. He like stayed and finished the movie. So it was like, it was an enjoyable movie, and it's just fun.
Yeah. So maybe not a B movie in all of its rights, but definitely a bad movie that's worth seeing. Something that probably people could enjoy for a little while. But I'm going to give this. We're actually going to do something new. We're gonna what in episode 3 we're going to start new stuff, which is fine.
New stuff all the time.
Yeah, something new every episode. Not going to happen, but we're going to try. We're going to actually keep a tier list of all the B movies that we're going to review and talk about. So last episode, we talked about Transformers, the movie.
You got to clarify
Was it 1964?
86.
Oh, gosh, that was way off with my number. 86. So the Transformers, the movie, 1986. We're going to start a tier list of B movies. So we're going to keep a record. We're going to put some movies together. We're going to post it so our listeners can take a look at it and keep track with us. But we're going to start with the Transformers, the movie, and then we're going to come back to 1000 BC in a couple minutes. Sam, the Transformers, the movie, pretty good. Like you got to say, like, for as bad as it is and for as much as commercially as it is actually pretty enjoyable. And we're actually just some ground rules for everybody. We're going to grade this of not necessarily how bad the movie is, but how enjoyable the movie is despite how bad it is. So like if we're going to get here one day, everybody, but if we take The Room by Tommy Wiseau is like an example for how we're going to grade this, that's going to be S tier. Like hands down, we're already going to say S tier.
What's the tier system, Nick?
Okay, yeah. So S tier is the top, like cream of the crop, golden, like
the Marths of B movies.
The Marths, yeah. So S tier is the best. A is like really good, like on the borderline of like being an S tier movie. And then you have B, and then you have C, which is going to be just like, meh, wouldn't care to see it ever again. Not anything to write home about. And then you're going to have D, which is like not enjoyable at all, is actually torture to watch. Don't do it unless you're like trying to be sad. That's going to be D tier. All right, going back to the Transformers, the movie, Sam, where do you think you're going to put that?
I'm actually going to talk about Death House.
Oh, God.
So I want to set the bar low.
Oh, God.
Death House. D tier.
The unreleased episode. Yeah, Death House. So maybe one day our listeners will hear that or we'll talk about it again one day. But Death House, if you don't know what Death House is, it's a movie on Netflix. Don't watch it unless you're looking for a bad time.
Yeah.
It's pretty painful. It's pretty cringy. It is in all rights a B movie and a C movie and a D movie and an F movie. It's everything. It's terrible. It's awful.
Definitely the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the Transformers, the movie, I enjoyed it, and I feel like I would have enjoyed it as much if I knew more about Transformers, but I'm going to give it a B, just kind of middle ground, not really passionate about it, not really hating it. And I'm just going to move ahead and, I'll give my ratings, then you can give your ratings.
Sure. Sounds good.
And then 10,000 BC, I'm going to give it a B. I really enjoyed the movie. It wasn't too bad, and like, I'd probably watch it again with some friends. Like, that's kind of how I see it. Maybe not for 10
controversial.
Maybe not 10 years from now, but like 20 years from now.
10,000 years from now?
Yeah. 10,000 AD.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again.
Okay. Well, let's set this rule before I give my ratings. Do we agree that we have to agree on a rating for each movie?
What do you mean by that?
So we both have to come to an agreement.
The same.
The same. Our list has to be the same.
No, I think it'd be fun to.
We're gonna do two separate lists.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Here we go. I actually agree with you on the Transformers the movie. B. Pretty good. Pretty bad. It's right in the middle. I'm actually gonna give 10,000 BC a C. I know it's really good CGI. I know it's directed by Independence Day director. I know that it's not that bad, but they spent $105 million on this movie.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like they could have done a lot better job with the writing. I think it's a pretty big fail.
Yeah.
I think that if you're looking at the movie as a whole, there's just so many things wrong with it and so many different ways they could have gone that would have made it more successful that you have to. I mean, if you look at the Transformers the movie, it was successful. Like it's actually become like a cult classic. 10,000 BC is not a cult classic.
Oh no, it's forgotten.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give 10,000 BC a C.
Okay.
So I feel like I have justified my grade for it very thoroughly.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just like, for me, when it comes to like being critical, I'm overly critical of things that are terrible, and then like things that I enjoy, I'm just like, yeah, that's this, and like that's kind of my opinion.
I think you got to try to find like the pleasant and like fun things out of the bad, and like that's why like B movies are so fun, because you got to find the things that are bad and make them a good thing. Cool. So yeah, B and B and for you, and B and C for me. So if you haven't listened to the episode 2 yet, go back and listen to it. Talk about the Transformers, the movie. We got our friend Tom Barker on. Does a really good job of talking about it. He's a pretty big Transformer
Yeah,
fan.
he's the one who actually suggested it to us. It was like, hey, you guys watch this, because he was very passionate about how they destroyed the Transformers franchise for 2 years. And then they brought it back, obviously, because they were like, oh, crap, we made a mistake. But yeah,
I sell more toys.
Definitely check it out. And if you have any B movies that you want to recommend to us, just tweet us at BBB, Nick and Sam. And yeah, we'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you, maybe. We'll call you.
Yeah, we probably have your number, so we'll call you.
Okay, cool. Movie review done. So let's talk about some news. Sam, you have played The Outer Worlds, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to make you talk about it yet, because we're going to talk about what we're playing. But you played The Outer Worlds a little bit, which is like my segue into Fallout 76 and the cluster F that is Bethesda. They have $100 subscription that just came out, and it just fell flat on its face. People are pissed about it.
Wait, so does Bethesda own Obsidian, or are they two different organizations?
So that's a great question. I don't know the answer to, but what I can tell you is the makers of The Outer Worlds are not part of Bethesda anymore.
Okay. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Keep talking, Nick.
So anyways, Fallout 76, if you are a fan of Bethesda games, Fallout franchise, which I am a fan of the Fallout franchise, really, really loved the video games. Fallout 3 is just like a complete masterpiece. And then Fallout New Vegas is also just hands down one of the best Fallout games that has ever been made. Just like the detail, the attention to like all the different things that are going on in the storylines, just all the funny dialogue. The writers for Fallout should have been the writers for 10,000 BC. It would have been a 10 out of 10 movie if it were that. But anyways, Bethesda's come out with a multiplayer game called Fallout 76. Sam's making a face because he found out some crazy information, but I'll let you get to it in a second. But anyways, they came out with Fallout 76 a little while ago. I think it was actually around this time last year that it was released.
Yeah, or I think was it 2 years ago? I think, because no, it might have been last year.
I don't think it's been out for 2 years, but I think it was this time last year around November that they released Fallout 76, which people were pretty hyped about it. It was a game that we didn't ask for, which I think is important to say, because everyone thought that we were going to get a new Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
We didn't get that.
I was freaking bummed about that.
So instead we got a Fallout 76 massive multiplayer online where you can nuke the crap out of your enemies, and it costs $100 to have a subscription now, which you don't have to do that, but they came out with this like gold subscription for like premium members. They like get early access to stuff, and they get special things. It costs $100 to be a member. They rolled it out and nothing worked right. Everything was glitched, which, if you know Bethesda, is pretty normal, but
very normal.
Normally they make up for it in content and fixes, and they just didn't do that. Like, there's been so many things that have happened since the release of Fallout 76 that shows like they don't care anymore about their audience, and like they like are cheap, and they like even like the merch that they gave like new.
Oh yeah, the bag that they gave was like nylon.
Yeah, like a nylon bag, and like all like everything that they put out has been like really cheap, and it's really frustrating as a Fallout fan. So I don't know. I just feel like it's important to mention it because it is news. It's something that has happened that is kind of causing an outrage. And I think these big game companies, and it's something you and I have talked about before, these big game companies are going to start feeling the effects. I mean, you have other companies that are listening and actually putting out content that people want. And when they do make mistakes, they own up to it and actually fix it. But Bethesda's falling into one of those categories like EA, where they just don't listen, like they think they know better, and they care more about the bottom line than making people happy.
Exactly. I mean, I think what it breaks down to is like they're not listening to their customer base. And when you like look at, I mean, like the easy one that's like just killing the game is Epic Games with Fortnite. They just constantly release new stuff, and they're always engaging their audience. And then,
yeah, say what you will about Fortnite, I don't like them, but they are pretty engaged. They listen. They put out content people want.
And like when you got like big companies like Activision, which I mean, who are publishing Call of Duty games, like if you look at Call of Duty, like they don't really follow up as they release a game and then they don't really do anything after that. They might have some DLC, but they don't like actually like work on things, which I don't know. I assume that's just poor resource management on the part of the developer. Maybe they just shift from like one game to the next game, which I think now people are wanting more games that are going to last a long time rather than like, I mean, League of Legends has been around for, I mean, they just had their 10th year anniversary.
Look at GTA 5.
Yeah, GTA 5 has
been out forever.
Yeah.
And it's still like a fresh game. It's like one of the most played games like to this day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what it breaks down to is like people want a game that's works and is fun at the start, and then you can just expand on it. Whereas like with Fallout 76, they kind of just like, because I mean, didn't Fallout 4 come out like a year and a half?
Yeah, like, well,
before that, or it was like pretty quick turnaround.
It wasn't that quickly, but it was not that long ago that Fallout 4 came out, and like that's what I mean by it's a game that we didn't ask for. I mean, no one expected a new Fallout game this soon, and I think that's why they shot themselves in the foot. Is they rolled out a game too soon and too quickly. It's totally buggy. Nothing works right. And they could have given themselves more time because no one was even expecting the game.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. Like, these big gaming companies have a much larger budget than some of these smaller companies that are putting out these quality games. I mean, if you take Fortnite as an example, I mean, their budget is not the same as Activision or I mean, like Rockstar is not immune to it. I mean, look at Red Dead 2 is not immune to those criticisms either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of theorizing here, but what I think it breaks down to is like kind of like the upper management kind of forcing deadlines and maybe not making sure everything's working properly before the game's released, because Fallout 76, I mean, it's been a year and it's still very buggy and broken game.
What'd you find out?
I found out that Bethesda Softworks has made every single Fallout game except for Fallout New Vegas. And Fallout New Vegas
was the one Obsidian made?
Yeah. Obsidian Entertainment made Fallout New Vegas, which makes sense because Fallout New Vegas is like very similar to Outer Worlds, where it's like it's very simple kind of mechanics and very good storyline and like role playing. And like also what I was really freaking out about was Obsidian made KOTOR, which is like one of my favorite games. But they made this
for those plebeians out there, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
They made the second one, so that's not as good as the first one, but it's still a very good game. And then they've released Fallout New Vegas, Dungeon Siege 3, and their most recent game,
South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Hey, I've heard that's a really fun game.
I've heard it's really good too.
I was watching some live streams of it back when it came out, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty fun, but I wasn't really into South Park, so my parents wouldn't let me watch South Park and Family Guy growing up, so this kind of like whatever.
Cool,
but it's fun to see other people. But tell me, what was a game that you as a kid were not allowed to play but you may have played anyways?
This is actually my question, Sam, but that's great that you asked.
I was trying to segue it from like talking about like South Park.
Yeah. Well,
not being able to watch it.
I'm glad you picked up on that segue. It was a great segue. Sorry I ruined it for you.
I'll forgive you one day, Nick.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so
I forgive him.
Okay, so The question was, what game was I not allowed to play as a kid? But I played anyways. I actually have a really vivid memory of this. Was me and my friend Zach. My friend Zach had all the great games. I had good games, but I didn't have like the edgy games.
Everyone has that one friend.
Yeah, everyone has that one friend that they learn all the bad words from and play all the edgy games with. So we played Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64, which if you haven't played that, if you didn't grow up playing that on the N64, I'm sorry, you missed out. That game is like, it's so good. They have, okay, so the storyline in the story mode of that game is probably not like why you played it. It's like really crude humor, a lot of blood, a lot of like weird stuff in it. If you know anything about Conker's Bad Fur Day, that's par for the course. But the multiplayer in that game was some of the best multiplayer I've ever played. You basically were either the squirrels or the teddy bears, and like the squirrels were like basically like crazy squirrels that like killed everything, and the teddy bears are like demon teddy bears that tried to kill the squirrels. So you like had two teams, and you do like capture the flag, you do death match, you could do you had like velociraptors. You could be velociraptors and cavemen, which is great because we talked about 10,000 BC today. Yeah. It's just a great segue. Anyways, and like if you were a caveman, you had to try to steal the velociraptor's eggs, and if you were like a raptor, you had to like kill all the cavemen and keep them away from your eggs. There is like probably like one of the most controversial things that I've ever seen is like one of the modes is like a storm the base mode, where if you're the squirrels, you're like the Jews, and if you're the bears, you're the Nazis.
Oh my gosh.
You had to defend your fort from the Jews that are like beached on this like on the side of the ocean. Is pretty controversial, pretty messed up, which is why I wasn't allowed to play it, but I found a way to play it. If you remember that game, you remember like how like you didn't want to tell your parents that you were playing it, or like your friend had it. But that was the game that I wasn't allowed to play that played Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Okay. I never played that game. I heard about it. I didn't realize it was a multiplayer game. I thought it was just straight single player.
It was like 4-player console on N64.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Couch multiplayer.
Gotcha.
That's old school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not N64. You couldn't do online. Well, I think you couldn't do online.
You can do it now probably with like
emulators.
But yeah, back in the day, you had to like
system link it up,
or like, well, in this case, you're all on like split screen.
Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of miss those days of system link and split screen, but at the same time, I like the comfort of my own room. But one game that my family would not let me play was the greatest MMO of all time, RuneScape.
Which I saw that on the list, and it blew my mind. Why weren't you allowed to play RuneScape?
I don't really remember, honestly. I think
was it the magic? No,
I think it was because it was MMO. And like my parents are very hesitant
they thought somebody was going to steal you.
Yeah, pretty much. They were very hesitant on letting me have Xbox Live, and very similar to that, they wouldn't let me play online games. So
oh man,
my sister and I played them anyways. She played Neopets.
Oh, Neopets.
And then I played RuneScape, and I played an embarrassingly long amount of time in that game. Like I got to level 100. I had 99 woodcutting, and
dang.
I was pretty serious.
Lumberjack.
I was pretty serious about RuneScape. Probably hurt my relationship with my family playing that game, because me and my sister used to fight all the time about like I'd be playing on a computer for too long, and she'd be like, "Sam, it's my turn." I'm like, "I want to play RuneScape." And then
99 woodcutting.
Yeah, and then when she'd be playing or she'd be doing her thing, like I was the younger. My sister's 2 years older than me. And I always could pull like, hey, like, it's my turn. And my parents would be on my side. Like, hey, Karen, that's my sister's name. Get off the computer. Like, Sam needs to play. And then I always got to play more. And it was great. And my sister probably hated me for that.
Probably still does. Karen probably has some deep-rooted resentment of you.
Oh, yeah. We talk about those every now and then. It's like, oh, like, this really hurt. Like, I'm really sorry. Or like, hey, did this hurt? Like, and she's like, yeah, it did. I'm like, oh, crap. But,
oh, well.
I need to talk to Karen actually about that because I've been thinking about it since I put it on our list. I was like, I wonder how Karen actually felt about this and how she feels about it now.
Yeah.
But RuneScape consumed my middle school life and early high school.
So that's really funny because I like briefly got into RuneScape. I tried to do all the free stuff, and I actually I don't know how far I got, but I got pretty far. I got like the sword that was like the best sword you could get for free. It was
the Rune Scimitar?
Oh, it wasn't that. It was like the something star or like daylight star or something like that.
Nick's a noob, guys.
Whatever. What I did though is not noob. I actually sold my RuneScape account, which I felt like super proud of. I sold it for $20.
Nice.
My name was Ice Machine 88. Go look it up. See if that dude's still playing. Cause I ripped that dude off for sure.
Dang,
because
dude.
I didn't put that much time into it. And that was back in the day when like people would like grind out accounts and like sell them to people, which I'm sure still happens somewhere
Probably
in Japan. Maybe.
I mean, I know
some League of Legends accounts being sold.
Oh yeah, League of Legends and Counter-Strike, those things are sold all the time.
That's like my crowning achievement with RuneScape, I think. But that's my story. Sold my RuneScape account, Ice Machine 88.
I think my biggest thing about people, I like judge people so hard when they talk about RuneScape.
Really?
Because I put so much time into it, and I can gauge how in they were to the game just based on 2 seconds of conversation with them.
Man.
And it's a hard part of my heart. So Lord, if you open that up for me. But RuneScape was probably a highlight of my middle school and high school. And that's kind of when I really started to find out that I really enjoy being social and not necessarily in a traditional face-to-face time. And actually I have a fun story. I had my first heartbreak in RuneScape. So
online girlfriend?
Yeah. Nah, I wanted her to be. So Ananias 2, shout out if you're listening. We used to woodcut together. We cut magic trees on World 101. Oh, man. And one day, so basically, you level up from 1 to 99. And once you reach 99, you have a party. Okay, we've reached 99, we throw a party. Ananias 2 didn't invite me to the party. And we've been woodcutting together for a couple months.
What a bee.
And then she switched worlds. And I never saw her again. And I was just dang.
Wow.
And then from then on, just cold.
That is the ultimate diss.
Yeah.
Not getting invited to the 99 level party.
Yeah. It was bad.
First heartbreak.
Yeah. Makes me realize how simple my problems were.
Oh, to go back.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, for real though.
Cool. All right. Awesome. That actually, that whole conversation got me thinking about another question that we'll talk about next episode. Cool. So this is the part in the podcast where we would answer your Twitter questions if we had any, which we don't yet because we just need people to tweet at us, ask us Twitter questions. You can send us an email if you want, asking us questions about movies, entertainment, video games, anything that you want to talk about that's relevant to the podcast. Ask us your questions. What do you want us to talk about? What do you want to hear from us? We'll say your name on the podcast. We'll say, hey, Sam Hill asked this question. And it was a really original name that I just came up with.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll answer your question. Maybe we'll make fun of you. It'll be great. It'll be good times. We'll answer your questions on Twitter, and we'll talk about it on the podcast.
BBB Nick, 3 B's, Nick and Sam.
Yeah, at BBB Nick and Sam on Twitter, and then also you can find us on Gmail, which is beers.bmovies.battleroyales@gmail.com. I'm surprised it's taken me this long to make that mistake. I need to stop watching The Office so that doesn't happen again.
That will never happen, though. Let's be real.
That'll never happen. Well, when they take it off Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Then it'll probably happen. But then, Mandalorian comes out November 12th.
Oh, yeah. I'm so stoked for that. Did you see the new trailer for it?
I haven't. I'm going to watch that as soon as I get home tonight.
It's a really good trailer, and it's more kind of action-packed, more about the character, Mandalorian. Definitely watch it.
Very cool. So Any closing thoughts, Sam?
I wanted to talk about out.
Oh God, we forgot to talk about what we're playing.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. What are you playing right now?
Why can't I think of the name of the game right now?
The Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds. So my friend Joey recommended The Outer Worlds. It's free on Game Pass right now, so if you have Game Pass, check it out. I'm about 2 hours into the game, so I can't really talk too much about it. But so far, I really enjoy it. And if you know me, then I do not like, that I don't like single player games. And so far, I'm kind of hooked. The dialogue and role playing that's like in this game is like very engaging. I remember the first scene that you crash on a planet and you see this guy who's wounded, and basically like, you're like, hey, can I help you out? And he's like, do you have this particular brand of medical supplies? Otherwise you can't help me out. And then like I persuaded him to heal him anyways. And then I talked to his boss later, and I told him that I healed him with this the off-brand, basically medical supplies. And he's like, I'm going to have to talk to him about that.
Crap, you got that dude fired.
Yeah, probably did. And
probably works for the name brand medical.
Yeah, he did. And then like, I can't remember what it's called, but it was just like, they like mention it in the game so many times. It's like, oh, like just kind of like brand, like this very particular brand they just like talk about all the time. But I persuaded the boss to like, hey, like I healed him, so why don't you go help him out? She's like, oh yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I was reading about that where like a lot of the like you don't have to do like guns blazing in every situation. Like you can talk your way out of a lot of stuff if you want to play that way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and like the actual gameplay mechanics aren't too great. I mean, it's kind of there's like a similar system to Fallout called, and it's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like similar to that. Yeah, where you can pause or slow down time to shoot and be precise, and like the gunplay is very simple. But I think what really kind of draws people to the game is the role playing and character creation.
Yeah,
because like
it's like a very D&D. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Put into a video game,
and like because like from what I've seen so far, they put you in a lot of dilemmas. Like I'm at a part in the game where it's like I have to choose between destroying one place or the other place, which is similar to the beginning of Fallout 3.
Yeah,
and I've just kind of looking at what people are talking about this game, it seems like that's a very common thing. And they really want you to kind of be your character and like, what would he pick? Because that doesn't really, what actually happens, like either way, there's going to be side effects and you're going to make enemies. So it's like, just pick what you think would be accurate to your character.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And I'm really excited to play more about it And I'll probably try to play some tonight. It's pretty early, so I'll definitely put in an hour or two. But
sweet.
What have you been playing, Nick?
Dude, honestly, I haven't been playing anything that good. I'm still, like I said in the last episode, still working my way back into Hearts of Iron. So I'll be picking that up soon. I think I'm going to wait for the new DLC to come out before I really dive back into it. Hearts of Iron 4, which is basically a World War II simulator game. Really, really fun. It's like grand strategy game. But a couple of games that I saw that were on Steam that look really interesting, that are really intrigued me. I'm going to try them out this week in the spirit of, well, not really in the spirit of Halloween, but let me find them. Sinking Simulator, which is supposed to be like an ASMR game where like if you want to like you basically like sink ships and like it's supposed to be like calming and soothing, which sounds really fun. And the other one is Elon Simulator, where you are like Elon Musk.
Oh, fun fact.
Which
I made my character in Outer Worlds look exactly like Elon Musk.
That is awesome.
Totally unintentionally. I was like randomized him.
And you should take a picture of that and we should post it to a Twitter page.
Yeah.
That can be our profile picture.
But back to the Elon Simulator.
I don't really know much about the game. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I'm going to probably do that this week. Elon Simulator, they're both free on Steam. So like there's no reason why you guys can't go check it out. Sinking Simulator and Elon Simulator. I've been playing still playing a lot of Prison Architect, which is pretty fun. It's like you pretend like you're a warden and you like build prisons, like you have like super max minimum security. People escape. You have to like build sniper towers and shoot people that try to escape. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I'm not playing anything really new right now. I'm kind of waiting until the new DLC for Hearts of Iron comes out. But I did download Outer Worlds, so I'm probably going to play that at some point this week and check it out.
Apparently you can beat the game in 30 hours, so it's like not very intense.
Dang, that is not that long actually.
For an RPG game, like it's pretty simple.
Is it still free? How long is it going to be free on Game Pass?
I don't know. I mean, Gears of War 5 I think it might still be free, but it's free for at least a month. So I assume it's going to be similar.
I need to get on that then. Yeah, I did download Outer Worlds, so I'm definitely going to check that out. That'll probably be what I play up until the new DLC comes out for Hearts of Iron, which I think is supposed to come out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No, I'm just going to keep playing Outer Worlds, and I've been watching the show Primal. Jindy Tarkovsky. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
That show to me. What's that about?
It's basically the creator of Samurai Jack creates this show where like it's following a caveman and a T-Rex who are best friends.
Perfect.
And like, I mean, I want to talk about more once I finish the show, but so far it's pretty solid and like it's like everything I asked for.
Is there anyone called Tick Tick?
No, because they don't talk. So
10 out of 10, best TV show ever.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this 2 pitchers beer, the 2 pitcher Radler, grapefruit and blood orange lager. It's a great beer, and going to continue playing Outer Worlds.
Awesome.
What about you, Nick? Any closing thoughts?
Closing thought. No, this is going to be really lame, but I just recently took a Harry Potter quiz that told me what house I am in. I've always been a Ravenclaw. I just found out that I'm actually a Slytherin, and I feel like I feel like a horrible person for it, but I can't change who I am. Hail Slytherin.
Hail Salazar Slytherin.
That's my closing thought, is I found out that I'm a Slytherin, and I'm kind of disappointed, but also kind of intrigued, which is a very Slytherin thing, I feel like. That's my closing thought.
Yeah. All right. Please check us out on our various forums. Whatever you listen to, we're also on Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud for podcasts. Hopefully we're going to be on Google Play. We have to figure out a thing or two for that.
Huge thank you to Adam for the music, which is absolutely fantastic. The music is probably the best part of the podcast, to be honest.
Hopefully it's in this podcast. We can put it in there, or otherwise,
if not, imagine some really, really good music if it's not in. This has been the BBB podcast. Thank you for listening, to those of you who were. Until next time,
we'll see you later.
All right.